as President Donald Trump's political comeback gains momentum. Canadian officials and analysts are closely watching a policy blueprint known as Project 2025. This sweeping agenda, developed by conservative think tanks and advisors in preparation for Trump's potential second term, outlines drastic changes to USA government structures, trade priorities, immigration enforcement, and foreign policy. In Ottawa, the document is being studied not just as a domestic American shift, but as a plan that could have profound consequences for Canada and USA relations. One of the most alarming aspects of Project 2025, according to Canadian analysts, is its focus on reasserting American dominance in trade negotiations. The plan proposes dismantling or rewriting existing trade agreements that are deemed unfavorable to USA interests. This includes revisiting elements of the United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement. Canadian trade experts warn that Trump's team could push for protectionist clauses, reduce exemptions for Canadian goods, or impose new barriers under the banner of national security or drug enforcement. The recent report from the Canadian Global Affairs Institute outlines several scenarios. In one case, a restructured USA trade policy under Project 2025 could target Canada's agricultural exports, particularly supply-managed sectors like dairy and poultry. If USA negotiators press for unrestricted market access, it could threaten long-standing Canadian farming practices and destabilize rural economies. Already, farmers in Quebec and Alberta are expressing concern, with several agricultural groups urging the federal government to prepare a response strategy. The policy framework also signals a more aggressive stance on border enforcement, including a potential rollback of existing cross-border agreements. The shared Canada and USA border, once a symbol of cooperation and open travel, may become a flashpoint. Under Project 2025, USA Customs and Border Protection would be given expanded authority to enforce stricter screening procedures, target undocumented migration routes, and implement enhanced surveillance technologies. While these measures are primarily aimed at the southern border, spillover effects could impact northern border operations as well. Canadian tourism operators and trucking associations have already begun sounding the alarm. Lengthier wait times, increased inspections, and stricter visa protocols could disrupt the flow of goods and travelers between the two nations. A logistics company based in Winnipeg estimated that even a 15% delay in border processing could cost millions in lost shipments and spoilage of perishable goods. Small tourism towns in British Columbia and Ontario, which rely on cross-border visitors, may also suffer significant economic setbacks. Beyond trade and security, Project 2025 carries ideological implications that run counter to Canada's social policies. The framework calls for dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across USA federal agencies, arguing they are politically motivated and inefficient. Canadian lawmakers, particularly those in progressive parties, view this direction as a threat to bilateral cooperation on shared social goals. Human rights organizations warn that collaboration on civil liberties and refugee support could weaken if the United States adopts a harder ideological line. The potential cultural divergence is particularly concerning for younger Canadians, many of whom have grown up in a period of close cross-border integration, from climate policy to tech innovation and education. Canada and the United States have traditionally partnered on long-term initiatives. Under Project 2025, analysts warn that Trump's administration may pull back from global climate agreements, reduce international research funding, and pivot away from partnerships with allies, seen as not fully aligned with its vision of national interest. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has thus far remained measured in his response, stating in a recent interview that Canada will continue to defend its values and economic stability, regardless of who leads the United States. Behind the scenes, however, senior federal officials are already reviewing contingency plans. These include renegotiation guidelines, emergency funding for affected industries, and diplomatic outreach to maintain key USA relationships at the state and municipal levels, bypassing federal tensions where possible. Think tanks and political observers in Canada are also debating how the country should position itself in a world where USA policy becomes less predictable and more inward-looking. Some suggest deeper alignment with European and Indo-Pacific markets, while others emphasize the need to double down on North American integration through strategic negotiation. At the heart of this debate is a simple but urgent question. Can Canada maintain its prosperity and sovereignty if its closest partner radically alters its political direction as 2025 unfolds? the specter of Project 2025 looms large. While still just a plan, its growing influence within Trump's political orbit makes it more than a theoretical exercise. For Canadians, it is a reminder that geopolitics does not respect borders. The policies crafted in Washington can, and often do, reach into Canadian homes, businesses, and communities. What comes next will depend not only on election outcomes, but on how prepared Canada is to face a shifting world order. As Project 2025 continues to shape the conversation south of the border, its ripple effects are already being felt here in Canada. From trade and border security to shared values and economic stability, the stakes are rising with every policy draft and political speech. Canada now faces a choice: either wait and react or prepare and adapt. The next chapter in Canada and USA relations may be written sooner than we think. If you found this video informative, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to West is Best for more sharp, honest, and essential Canadian news. Tap the notification bell to stay updated on how global politics impact life right here at home. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay aware, stay informed, and stay Canadian.